Let it go. Do do do. Ooh.
Alright guys, ladies and or gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zeno, and just ignore the fact that I'm now a talking logo. Just don't worry about it. So here's my first impressions of Lupa. I've had her for quite a few days now. I've run her through all the different endgame content. Whimpering Wastes actually reset today, which is kind of what I was waiting for. I've been trying to record this video for a few days now, but I realized Whimpering Wastes was resetting, so I wanted to take her through the new Whimpering Wastes, which I will splice out the footage towards the end of the video, as well as Tower Adversity, level 100 hologram, and just some overworld gameplay throughout the video. So yeah, I've been having an absolute freaking blast with this character. As you guys know, I summoned this character purely just for the sake of buffing up my Changli, because she's one of my favorite characters. She has been since day one, and Changli now on my account feels like she has been missing that extra teammate, because my Cardathia's got a full aero team, Zani's got the full Spectro team, Carlotta's got a Jeji, the full Glacio team, and so Changli's kind of just sitting there without someone, and so that's what Lupa was for. Now, I know people mentioned it in the summons video that I did, and yes, Lupa is not the best character for Changli, because obviously she's meant to be buffing Brant, because she buffs basic attack damage on the outro, but this is just what I have on my account. So I know that she buffs basic attack damage, but she does also buff fusion damage, and so Changli kind of takes some of the buffs, and while this is not a triple fusion team, so you will miss out on some of the triple fusion buffs from Lupa, I have found actually with just Changli and Shorekeeper and Lupa in a team, this team's actually working better than I thought it would. I'm not gonna lie, I've managed to comfortably clear all of the endgame. I've been able to clear level 100 holograms. I've been able to just have a ton of fun in the overworld, and the rotations itself are just really smooth. Like, it just goes from one to another. So I'll show you what I've got so far. Obviously, my Lupa is not fully built up at all. I have literally run out of money, and I have run out of echoes to level up. I am not finished at all. So this is what my Lupa's looking like: 2200 attack, nearly 130% ER. I found that 120 to 130 is definitely the sweet spot of energy regen, especially for someone like me who is running a Changli Shorekeeper team. I definitely need closer to the 125 to 130 mark. She's got a great crit rate at 79%, but she's got pretty low crit damage at 243%, considering I am rocking her incredible looking weapons. So I've still got a lot of work to do. She's got a little bit of liberation damage as well, because most of her kit's liberation damage. So, but she's still got like 30 to 40% crit damage to get through echo stats in the future. My stuff is level 7, 7, 9, 8, and 8. I've run out of literally just materials. I've started to run out of money. I'm trying my best to level up this character, but I put everything into Cardathia, and now I just have nothing left. So this is what I'm rocking so far. This is the best forecast I've been able to get. It's obviously not the greatest. This is missing crit damage. This is okay. It's got double crit, attack, and energy regen. This is missing crit damage, but it does have 10.5% crit rate with ER and double attack. So this will be a little harder to replace because of the massive crit rate it's got, but she's already got like high enough crit rate that I don't mind taking a little bit off, especially with Shorekeeper in the team. And then this one's got double crit attack. So I've got a lot of pieces that can be upgraded in the future. So I'm looking forward to seeing how strong I can eventually make her. But I will, you've probably seen it in proper builds and showcase videos, but Lupa definitely is not a big damage dealer character. She is a sub DPS support. Changli is more of a quick swap dual DPS, but Lupa is definitely more of a sub DPS. Think of more the lines of like a Cantarella or something like that, where some of her part of her kits can actually do a lot of damage, especially her special intro that she has. She has like a special intro thingy, whatever it is, where when she intros back in after the first rotation, she does like a ton of damage and a big attack. That can actually do a sizable amount of damage, but overall, Lupa doesn't do that much. Now, again, mine's not fully upgraded, but that's okay. So that's Lupa so far on my account and what I'm using her with Changli and Shorekeeper. I've actually found it absolutely fantastic. I'm surprised. I mean, I know I got her weapon. I said it in my summons video, but I did get her weapon because I needed that extra buff because I do not have Brant on my account, which is kind of, Brant and Lupa are kind of the two that go together more so, and Changli's kind of like the third wheel in a way. You can replace Changli with maybe a Chixia, maybe an Encore, but I needed the weapon because I needed that 24% fusion damage bonus as part of the skill. Changli needed all the extra boost that she can get, especially because Lupa's outro isn't the best for Changli. One issue I have found running with this team specifically, Changli buffs liberation damage on the outro, and Lupa buffs fusion and basic. Now, the way I run the team is I go Shorekeeper into Lupa, and then I go Lupa into Changli, and then Changli back into Shorekeeper. So no one takes advantage of Changli's buff, which is liberation buff. Technically, it does buff liberation damage, so technically Shorekeeper with her mega intro does do liberation damage, so it kind of mini buffs it, but let's be honest, Shorekeeper's not doing damage. That's not what she's there for. So I could do it the opposite way around, where I go Changli into Lupa, but then no one takes advantage of Lupa's buff when I go into Shorekeeper. So, and Changli does a ton more damage than Lupa. So even if I did it the opposite way around, where Changli buffs Lupa and Lupa gets the liberation damage bonus from the outro, she's still not, she's going to be, the team will still do less damage overall, because Lupa herself does not do anywhere close to the amount of damage that a Changli does, at least my Changli anyway. Who knows, once I've got everything maxed out and built up, maybe I can actually play around with switching them, but I found a lot of great success going from Shorekeeper into Lupa, into Changli, and then back into Shorekeeper. It seems to flow really well, which I'll showcase throughout the video. So with the Tower of Adversity, I ran both sides of Tower of Adversity. I ran Whimpering Wastes a couple of times, even just a level 100 hologram. I beat the crap out of the Fallacy of No Return. I basically just played it like a straight Tower Adversity boss, and I just did, like, you know, outro into full rotation, outro full rotation, outro full rotation. Didn't even bother with like Fallacy of No Return mechanics, and I just like beat the crap out of it. It was fantastic. It was a ton of fun. So that's my initial thoughts so far on Lupa. You guys know one of the most important things to me is overworld gameplay, because you guys know I'm more of a casual player. Or at least I like to pretend I'm a casual player, but with how my account's progressing these days, it's becoming harder and harder to pretend like I'm a casual player. You guys know in my previous first impressions videos, I like to concentrate on what the average player will be doing in the game, which is overworld gameplay. How fun is the character in the overworld for your world quests, your side quests, your world exploration, your daily things, your fantasy, the 1,000 gateways. I'll splice in some footage from that as well within the video. And one thing I have, she's a lot of fun. She's a ton of fun in the overworld. Because I've got 130% energy regen, her liberation's up all the time. I can hit the energy regen, hit the liberation. I can do her full rotation. She's very flashy. She's very fun. She does enough damage to kill all the overworld mobs very simply. And I can always pop in Changli here and there if I need to. She does struggle sometimes a little bit damage-wise with some of the harder enemies in the game, like those Chronosaurs thingies, whatever that new stupid enemy that's really difficult for most people in Septimon. She does struggle a little bit with those enemies because her damage really is not the highest, but she's a ton of fun in Overworld. She's fun in 1,000 Gateways, and I'm just having a blast overall. One thing about her attack combos is, you guys know if you've watched official guides from proper content creators and stuff like that, her kit is just mega complicated, and it's just got like bunches of words. Like, this is ridiculous how long this is, but in reality, you only, once you intro into Lupa, you just click the echo, you click liberation, you smash the skill and normal attack button, and then you basically just like swap off. You don't actually use a lot of her combos. So one thing I've noticed about her combos is she's got a kind of a couple extra ones. She's got a normal attack combo, which is very flashy and very cool. But she actually has a flash, which allows her to, hang on. There you go, that little flash there, which allows her to go into an aerial combo if you'd like. So it's, and then you can just start doing just really fancy shit, kicking spears around. She's a ton of fun. So she's got a little bit of nuance to her combos if you'd like that stuff, especially with her hold attacks as well. One thing I want to mention is she has got that special dash, which I mentioned in my video when we discussed her kit for the first time. I'm kind of disappointed that it's not like a special wolf dash in a way, because all you do is hold down sprint, and that's it. That little spark of white around her makes her run for... Don't get me wrong, she runs faster, but one issue is, which I'll show right here, is if she goes up too many stairs, she comes to basically a grinding halt. So that's one unfortunate thing, is if you go up too many layers in the environment, you go up too many stairs, you go up too many big rocks, she will come to a grinding halt. One thing about this dash that is nice is she has a special fancy attack. It doesn't really do anything. This is the normal attack when she's sprinting, and then she has this as well. It just does a little bit of extra damage. She does have interruption resistance on this skill as well, which I originally thought it was tied to the special sprint. It's not, which is really nice. But this extra sprint is literally only going to be used for overworld stuff. So, because it takes 2.5 seconds to actually activate. So that kind of does suck in a way, because you're not going to ever use this in Whimpering Wastes, Tower Adversity, hologram fights, even in Thousand Gateways. You're never going to use this outside of overworld, so it's kind of nice, but I wish maybe the extra attack did like a ton more damage, or maybe like generated some forte for her, just so that way the people that want to use her in the overworld can actually get something more out of the fact that half of one of her passive skills is tied to a extra sprint. A really neat thing that I found about her skill, actually, where she throws the spear, it resets. If you can kill an enemy when she's launching her spear attack on her skill, it can reset, and you can kind of actually spam it, which is really nice. So you can kind of literally click the button again, and then if you kill something, you can click the button again, and you can kind of keep comboing this. Again, this is one of those things where it's only going to be useful for overworld content, because let's be honest, outside of maybe Whimpering Wastes, which I did use it and it did come in handy kind of in my Whimpering Wastes runs, you're not going to be able to kill an enemy with Lupa's damage in any endgame mode with a skill. It's not happening. So again, it's just another part of her kit that kind of goes to overworld gameplay, which is fine, because you guys know I like my overworld gameplay, I like my casual stuff, because that's what a lot of people actually play the game for. But again, it's just something really weird that I noticed. I will say quickly before we move on to the endgame stuff, design-wise, I really do love Lupa's design. I think she's so fucking hot. I think she's so hot. And the fact that her forte gauge, kind of like Changli's in a way, where some of Changli's clothes come off with her forte as it builds up. As Lupa's forte gauge builds up, the initial one is just her basics with her cape, her little cape on her shoulders and stuff like that, and a little scarf thing with the medallions. But then as her forte builds to about halfway, her ears and her gauntlets are kind of like go on fire, which is like really cool. And then when she gets to full forte, like everything comes off, her bushy tail's on fire, which I just think it looks really freaking cool. And especially in the idle animations, which you guys saw probably at the at the really unhinged intro video that I had. She looks fantastic. I will admit, as a gladiator, it would be nice if maybe there was not so much jiggles on some parts of the armor, but as a professional gooner and simp for beautiful women, I don't really care, but I can definitely see why some people are like, man, I wish she wasn't quite so jiggly, considering she's supposed to be wearing like lots of armor, but it's basically just like skin tight leather armor. As far as endgame goes, like I ran her through Whimpering Wastes at just reset, and she cleared at roughly 26 to 2,800 points on the second side for me. Ignoring the first half, of course, because I have just a completely broken card of Heya with sequences. But she did extremely well, actually. Considering you want 5,500 points to get the maximum amount of score and points, she got about 2,800 on both the different runs that I did, which means she scored exactly half, which is exactly what she needed to score in that team for me. The team rotation felt really smooth, and it felt really fun because Lupa has a little bit of AoE to her kit as well, on her blasts, on her skill and her liberation, and it's really fun, I'm not gonna lie. Changli works really well, obviously in Whimpering Wastes, she's one of the better characters. But Lupa and Changli made a fantastic team for Whimpering Wastes, clearing out AoE content. So anytime that there's a fusion buffs, fusion weak enemies, I will be so happy now to run them together. So that was just a ton of fun. 1,000 gateways, I did run her through that as well, obviously with all the crazy buffs you can get in that mode, which gets really crazy. That was a lot of fun as well, and I think it was Hikade last week's 1,000 gateways when I recorded the footage. This week is probably different because it's reset again, but she was a lot of fun in that as well, and I pretty much just main fielded her half the time, and with like lots of basic attack buffs and meteors falling from the sky. She was a lot of fun in that mode, so I look forward to running her and Changli through that mode whenever any of them have bonus points or there's like fusion stuff, so that was really cool as well. And of course, the last endgame mode outside of hologram, Tower of Adversity. Now, this current buff for Tower does have arrow resistance and fusion resistance decreased by 10%. And when you do liberation damage, you do some extra arrow damage as well, which doesn't really do too much exactly for a fusion team. But I ran Changli, Shorekeeper, and Lupa through the entire for both middle sides, and they cleared with 20 to 30 plus seconds on each side. Obviously that will only get a little bit faster as my Lupa gets stronger and I upgrade everything to like level 10 in her skill tree, and I upgrade an extra 30-40% crit damage as well, so I'm looking forward to that. But she did exactly as I thought she would do, with a mid-tier low-built Lupa and a Changli and a Shorekeeper at S0 with their weapon. It was a lot of fun. I will admit I did struggle a little bit with the fallacy of no return a couple of times. It took like 3 runs to get it, but when I got it, I had like 20-30 seconds spare, which I think is perfectly fine. If I can clear endgame content with a Changli and Lupa duo, with a Shorekeeper, all of them at S0 with just their weapons, and Lupa's not very well built, and I can already clear the endgame content without too many massive fusion buffs, I think that's pretty damn good, because it means it's only going to get stronger as I invest more into the team and more into Lupa, and maybe in the future when there's more heavily favored fusion buffs, she's only going to perform even better as well. But she performed perfectly fine, a lot of fun, and I'm honestly really loving the rotation as well. And then finally, holograms. I ran her through the fallacy of no return because I hate that son of a bitch, and I'm always going to beat the crap out of it whenever I can till the end of time. It's like my punching bag now. And I managed to clear in just a sub 2 minute, just a random run. It was actually my first time running. Changli did die at the very, very, very last second, which was unfortunate because I got greedy. I got greedy and stupid. But it was a lot of fun. I didn't even bother to... The thing with hologram fights in general is you tend not to be able to do the full rotations back to back properly like you would in like a Tower of Adversity or a Whimpering Wastes, because usually with holograms you've got a lot more mechanics, and you've got to dodge a lot more. It's a lot harder, the enemies hit a lot harder, they have a lot more HP. But I was able to pretty much mash my way through just basic rotations with Lupa and Changli, and it was a lot of fun, and I beat the crap out of it. So I'll go back and eventually do some other endgame content, holograms and stuff like that with the team. But even something like Fallacy and No Return, which is definitely no pushover, and it is a hard boss, level 100 with this team, still absolutely cleared it. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, first impressions, I am very impressed with Lupa. Was a little skeptical at first, just because I know she's, again, I've said it, I'm being a bit of a broken record, she's meant to be for Brant, and Brant, you know, buffs Like, I know Brant buffs like skill damage, so he technically buffs Changli, but Lupa buffs Brant, and then Brant's supposed to buff Changli, Changli's supposed to buff Lupa. But I was a little skeptical at first, because I'm like, is Changli and Lupa really going to be a good duo with just like a shorekeeper in the mix? Like, I'm going to be losing a lot of the fusion buffs by not having triple fusion, like a mono fusion team. And it turns out, overworld, fantastic. Level 100 holograms, fantastic. Whimpering Wastes, fantastic. Tower of Adversity, fantastic. So I'm really impressed. She's a ton of fun in overworld. She's a ton of fun in in-game content. Mine's only going to get stronger and better. And yeah, I'm really, really, really enjoying Lupa as a character. I still haven't done the latest story quest. I'm really behind. You can thank Anxiety for that one. I was going to stream it, but this is why I'm a talking logo right now. Thank you, Anxiety. I appreciate it, buddy. But I haven't done the latest story quest just yet as of recording, so I haven't seen what part she gets up to and like how her story finishes unfolding. But I love her character. I like her gameplay. She's very fashy. She's super fucking hot. And she makes my Changli even better, which is one of my favorite characters. And so I have just absolutely no complaints whatsoever. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up my casual first impressions. Remember, guys, if you like what I do here, just giving you my average opinion in some casual content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, join the Discord to chat to the community there. Become a member of the channel to support me directly. If you guys summon for Lupa, how are you enjoying her? Are you using her in a full fusion mono team? Are you using her with an Encore or a Chixia? Are you like me and you just got her to maybe buff like a Changli or something up? Let me know how you're finding Lupa and how much better your build is than mine. Because I bet you there's some people with like some absolutely cracked builds. So really looking forward to seeing. So that all being said, I'll leave the video there. So thank you so much for watching and or listening. And as always, my name is Zeno. And you guys take care now. She's so flashy.